This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to week 17 of my Arrowverse recap. I'll be going over episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Superman and Lois, and The Flash. Yeah, Batwoman, it was a very predictable episode with a very predictable plot. It was obvious that Cersei was pretending to be Kate Kane and that she has returned, and it was pretty clear what was going to go on. Honestly, I don't remember that much of what happened in the episode. I don't really care enough to try to figure that out. Yeah, I'm not really going to try to do that. I just know it's kind of setting things up. I think that they revealed that Black Mask now knows their identities through Cersei, and now has access to all of Batwoman's equipment. But yeah, that wasn't too good of an episode, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. The newest Legends, though, was a really fun one. It involved Sarah escaping finally from Bishop, and Rory helping Gary with her rescue, and it also had the rest of the team besides Ava trying to save Sarah back in the finale. And although I did know that Sarah would fail to be saved by the Legends in the past, it was still interesting, especially after last week's reveal that Sarah has died once again and is now a clone. And that clone also has regeneration abilities since it is fused with an alien. She was also able to sacrifice her clean human clone body to be able to destroy Bishop permanently. But if he is meant to be the main villain, then he may come back somehow. But I am not sure really. He could be gone and a new villain could be set up, but I really have no idea. And I think this episode was really enjoyable. It had some good character growth for John. Constantine was able to, accept that he has lost his magical abilities and may not be able to get them back, although he is going to try. And I think that his relationship with Zari is good too. I am very excited to see where this season continues to. The episodes have been fun, but as I have said multiple times, they're not meant to be taken too seriously. And that's really it. I think it was a good episode, and it was definitely enjoyable. I'm guessing, since I have not watched at this point Flash for Superman and Lois of recording, that this is at least going to be under Superman and Lois, since Superman and Lois has been at such a high quality. But who knows, maybe I jinxed it and it's going to be a bad episode tonight as it might recording, because I'm going to be out watching The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard tonight. I'm going to get back and watch The Flash and Superman and Lois, and it's going to be pretty late by that point, and I'm going to get out like half this video now so I don't have to stay up even later to record or wake up earlier or anything to do before I see Loki. I don't feel like recording anything besides my Loki review tomorrow, so I'm just getting half of it done here. And I have finally watched episodes of Flash and Superman and Lois, and The Flash was a pretty brutal episode. and that was a real shame since I had watched such a great streak of movies yesterday, from when this video would come out. But yeah, the episode was not that intriguing, and the only interesting part was the Joe storyline, which was very predictable, and I figured out where it was going a while ago. And I mean, a while ago, I sure figured it out around when Kramer was being introduced as more of an antagonist, and when we first heard about her hatred of metahumans and how she was betrayed by them, I believe. And I understood she had something, and I did not believe for 1 second, just like Joe did, that she was actually guilty of treason or anything. That was just something the writers put in to try to throw everyone off. And that was really the best part of this episode. But I feel like that's kind of not saying a lot. This episode, as I just said, was pretty brutal. Honestly, I really didn't enjoy it that much. And since I just got back from watching a movie in theaters, I was starting to fall asleep during it. I was like half asleep, and at once I was struggling to stay awake. And here's the thing, that was not just me being tired, because I was able to be fully awake and alert during Superman and Lois. But this episode, The Flash, was very slow and felt like it was just a lot of wasted time. Here's the thing, with it, you are more willing to logically believe what Sue is saying, but you know that they're going to redeem yet another villain. Not just that, apparently they're redeeming 2 villains, with both Ultraviolet and, in the end credit scene, Chillblaine apparently being reformed and willing to become better people. And now that draws this season's total of redeemed villains to nearly 100%, with technically it being 100 since Psycho Pirate Cecile was also technically redeemed, although it was an evil mask, and using the mask, which is really to be considered a technicality, every villain this season has been redeemed, and knowing that Godspeed, in the comics at least, is more of an anti-hero, I feel like this is going to be happening yet again, and I'm just getting very annoyed with this. We're having a season where fully every single antagonist in it was redeemed, and that's just getting a little ridiculous and far too repetitive. I already made a promise to myself the week before that if there was one more villain redeemed in this show, that I was going to make a video just explaining how annoyed I was with this. And I didn't really announce on the channel because I was hoping that I would be not having to make this video, since The Flash was, at least at one point, my favorite show, but I think it's definitely been pushed down, definitely a few steps. And when I say favorite show, I mean my favorite live action one since from watching episode 1. The Clone Wars has always been my favorite, but I've already talked a lot about how I love that series, and that deserves its own dedicated video where I'm probably going to be having to stop myself from talking for like 2 hours about how much I love this show. I don't know, I see best case scenario for that video being like 15 minutes, worst case being like 40 minutes. But let's go back to this episode of The Flash. I also don't like that Barry only had a brief cameo at the beginning and the end. It just feels so weird that the show titled The Flash had The Flash as a supporting character in the episode, although I do understand other characters need to be developed. It's kind of weird for the show's lead to be fully missing for an episode without having a good story reason. Like, for example, back in Arrow Season 3, we thought that Oliver was dead, and that made sense for why he was missing for nearly a whole episode, because they wanted to keep the illusion of him being dead. But with this one, yeah, it's just kind of pointless. They just wanted to write Barry out of this episode, and they did it. Yeah, I just really didn't enjoy it. I think it's probably the worst of this season. It felt completely unnecessary and unjustified, and did absolutely nothing, from what I could tell at this point, to set up future storylines for the big story. That seems like it's only setting up 2 or 3 side plots with Frost and Chilblain, Joe and Kramer, and Allegra and Ultraviolet. So really, this episode just felt like something that was kinda a waste of time, and these storylines probably could have been put in another episode. And here's the thing, I am generally fine with filler episodes as long as they don't really majorly impact the main story, or unless they just feel completely pointless and suck. Because there are some fun ones that maybe don't have the best, connection to the main story, but those are still fun episodes, and they are interesting. But this one was just almost completely pointless, setting up from what it seems like right now, nothing major. And after completely destroying that episode of The Flash, let's go to something that was really good once again, Superman and Lois. This show has easily made it to the best show on the CW right now, especially in the Arrowverse. I'm not really sure what else they show. I don't really watch other stuff, but of everything that takes place in the Arrowverse, this has been my favorite so far. It's been consistently good, well written, and intriguing. And since this was another big episode, I can't just say big episode again because these have been so big and revealing. I do have to say there's spoilers in this, and this episode really begins with Clark's origins as a hero, how he became Superman, how he learned and trained, fell in love with Lois, and eventually how they had kids. But towards the end, things were starting to get odd as Clark began to notice glitches, and as his father told him he had to get out, he was eventually able to wake up and learn that Morgan Edge was using Kryptonian technology to figure out everything about him and threatened his family, as Clark suffered a brutal beating. He was knocked out, and Edge went to threaten his family, who were just checking on the Cushing family, and that led to both some interesting stuff, with Kyle apologizing for not realizing that Lois was right, although he did believe that Morgan Edge was there to help. He was tricked, and it was understandable, but we also finally have what was pretty obviously going to happen. Jordan and Sarah are now dating, and although I'm pretty sure everyone saw this coming from a mile away, it was a nice moment, although he still is holding one last secret from her, him having abilities. And yeah, this ends in such a good way. Well, not for the characters. It was a pretty brutal ending for them, but it was so intriguing. We have Clark having to save his family by submitting to Edge, and he takes him to his desert fortress of solitude. Why not? Let's get the bad pun in. He took him to his fortress of rockitude in the middle of the desert. Yeah, you get to go and tell me how bad of a pun that was in the comments. I know it was bad. I just don't know how bad it was. Please, don't hold back. Tell me how bad of a pun that was. I insist. Just keep it clean. Okay, so going back to it, and going back to a far more serious note, he is now being tortured by Red Sun energy, and he is seemingly being corrupted and taken over by an evil Kryptonian, and this will lead to his fall, which is very tragic, and we finally see Lois calling John Henry Irons, saying that Superman has fallen, and I am very excited to see this. I think we're waiting 3 weeks. It said the 13th, and it was released on the 22nd, so that should be 3 weeks. And man, I really want to see that next episode. And we'll be really disappointed, especially if we do have bad episodes of The Flash only. Although I am still a little hopeful. This Godspeed story looks like it could be very interesting. But yeah, this has been a very good episode. In fact, all these have been good. It is so hard to rank these since they've all been so good, so intriguing, and I am very interested in seeing where this goes. I probably don't have as much to say, both because I'm very clear on what I think about all these episodes, and also I'm pretty tired. I've been getting not as much sleep as I've wanted to, so don't be surprised if that Loki video comes out at like 1, 2 o'clock, because I woke up at like, I don't know, maybe like 11, and then watch the episode, maybe ate lunch or something, and then made the video. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But yeah, I'd also like to confirm I am reviewing The Long Halloween tomorrow. I was able to get it and watch it. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please like the video, leave some comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. And may the force be with you.